Hello everyone, Mega Man NG here, and it's that time of the week again. It's time for episode 8 of the Ace Attorney anime review. This week we speak of Turnabout Goodbye's first trial. Now, before I say anything else, you wonder why is both Maya and Edgeworth in the same picture? The answer is simple. Because this episode is important involving these two characters. Yes, we're now heading to the 4th case of this series, Turnabout Goodbyes. And hoo-wee, this episode is a lot better. A lot better since they provided a good amount of time for not only investigation, but also exposition. And man, what a big exposition dump it was. So let me get this out of the way. It begins with two people on a boat, and then by the end, Edgeworth ends up holding onto a gun. You can tell that he ends up being a suspect in a murder, as the murder of one Robert Hammond. Yeah, I could just go on about this since by this point you guys have already seen my playthroughs of Ace Attorney enough that you would know the truth. Basically, Phoenix Wright investigates trying to see if, well, Miles Edgeworth can be saved. And truthfully, he does everything he can. We also meet up with a lot of different characters, like Marvin Grossberg, who provides a heck of a ton of exposition. And I mean a lot of exposition. You think I kid? I don't. He details everything regarding DL6 to the letter. Who would have thought he'd be so knowledgeable? But I didn't really think it would end up making Maya feel all emotional. We actually do see some scenes where Maya and Mia were there at the time when their mother, Misty Faye, was channeling. This happened sometime after the death of defense attorney Gregory Edgeworth. He does make a cameo here in a flashback detailing in regards to how he defended against Manfred von Karma. And if you see my playthrough of the Prosecutor's Path, then you know he was trying to defend Jeff Master, who was charged with murder. But it's just a heck of a mess. It really is a heck of a mess because it also showed how he died, as well as the trial that followed. The victim was a man named Robert Hammond, but in the trial back then, he was a defense attorney who served under the Grossberg law offices, but he quit. Man, that's just so much. Not to mention there was like a lot of good moments. There was also even a flashback that happened regarding the classroom trial. Now, it isn't important at first, but it does play a central role in the entire case. And when that moment comes, basically, it just basically inspired Phoenix, Edgeworth, and Larry to be friends. Yes, Larry appears in the episode, and like Grossberg, he also was knowledgeable. Basically, he still remembered back then when the three were good friends back in grade school. Even Maya was surprised. He really was surprised. Not to mention the ever-appearance of Gordy. Yes, Gordy is mentioned here, but we don't get to see much of it since it oh wait, I forgot, it does cover it, so yeah. Also, we also meet some characters like Lotta Hart. Lotta Hart, not as much anger as she was when Maya was fiddling around with the camera, but we know she's going to end up being a witness in next week's episode, aka the trial. And we also get a full appearance of Manfred von Karma, a prosecutor who would do anything for a guilty verdict in his 40-year career as a prosecutor. And we know we saw him earlier in a few episodes in minor moments, but this case, as well as this in the next few episodes, is where Manfred von Karma is going to show how deadly he is, how sinister. Even Edgeworth tells Phoenix about it. He's basically God von God. God von God. Take everything you know about Edgeworth, like the anger, the nastiness, and multiply that by 10. And that's what you get, Manfred von Karma. Oh, man. To tell you the truth, trying to summarize the episode is a bit much, but honestly, I really did enjoy it. I really enjoyed this episode. It had some very good pacing. The music, oh my god, I can't believe they added the DL6 music into the anime, but it was orchestrated so brilliantly, and it added this sense of emotion, this sense of fear, this dread. It was just done so well, and it contemplates with the current case at hand. This case is connected to DL6, and for good reason. Heck, even Edgeworth explains about what happened when he went. Now, that was in the game, it was saved in the second trial. But here in the anime, they did it very well, and it was basically done perfectly. It was a good end, especially when Edgeworth allows Nick to represent him. At first, he was hostile, and he didn't want Phoenix to get involved. But you know Phoenix, once he starts something, he makes sure it gets done. He's thick-headed. And at the end, Edgeworth did allow him to represent. However, that may not matter because he's up against Manfred next week. Not to mention Maya also having the worry because she's been lacking in her training. That's why she couldn't call upon her sister Mia. Although I wonder if that could be probably a plot device because maybe it's something that Nick has to do on his own. I don't really know to be sure. But what I do know is that this week was done very good. This episode was great. I really enjoyed it. It was not only investigation-based, but also exposition-based. The pacing was very good. The music, like I said, the music was divine at some instances. And the characters are still just as fun as I remember. Not to mention, lots of nods to later cases yet to come. In one scene with the newspaper article, you see the Very Big Circus. And another scene, or rather two scenes, you see the Blue Badger. You know that it's going to be inevitable that they'll do Rise from the Ashes. And when they do Rise from the Ashes, I know I'm going to be hyped for it. But I only hope that they can deliver because Rise from the Ashes in the game was way longer than Turnabout Goodbyes. 4 days, I think it was, 3 days of investigation, 3 days of trial, former and ladder, with the last one having 2 ladders instead. And man, it's going to be intense. Though, at least, here's what I think. Originally, in the original Gyakuten Saiban game, it only lasted 4 cases, with Turnabout Goodbyes being the last one. When the game was re-released for the DS and brought overseas, they added a 5th case to incorporate the DS's capabilities, Rise from the Ashes. That case was important because it also detailed the inevitable fate that Edgeworth would have, and why he left in the first place, setting up for justice for all. I like how they added a good continuity, and I hope that the anime is going to deliver on it too, and if it does, I'm going to look forward to it. And so far, they haven't screwed it up. They didn't screw it up, they did it splendidly. So I gotta ask you guys, what do you think about the episode? For my rating, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was well done. Very well done. One of my favorite episodes thus far. I hope to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys think of it. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. To let everyone know, tomorrow there will not be any footage of Hearthstone because I gotta finish Fire Emblem Fate's Birthright so I can set things up for Tuesday night or Wednesday for TMNT Mutants in Manhattan. And yeah, Hearthstone will resume next week, along with next Saturday going to be an episode review of Ace Attorney Anime. Wednesday will be the season finale Flash review, because after this, the only reviews you're going to be seeing is from the Ace Attorney Anime. It's not much, but what can you do, honestly? So, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. This is Mega Man NG, and don't forget that I do have a Patreon if anyone's interested in contributing to it. The link's in the description below. Check it out. I promise not to disappoint. Alright, that's it. This is Mega Man NG. Signing off. Peace out.